I'm spinning this wheel, and wherever it lands, I have to go. Because Ryan Trahan challenged me.
Yeah, I'm in this video too, don't question it.
To visit 10 random countries in 10 days. To prove I have what it takes to be a real tourist. It's officially day 7, and we've already visited Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Poland, Denmark, and Sweden. Let's see where we're going next. I guess we're going to the UK. Hey guys, we just landed in London, and we cannot leave this country until Leo and I complete 3 tasks.
Number 1, you gotta find the coolest souvenir you possibly can. Number 2, you have to eat a traditional food. And number 3, you must visit a famous landmark.
But we've only got 24 hours left, so let's head into the city to find a souvenir. I've been told so many times that the stereotype for London is that it's always sad and rainy, but when we arrived, it was the exact opposite. There were people everywhere. And at one point, we even came across this guy blasting bagpipes under a Canadian flag. Which was a little bit random, but still really cool. What stood out to us the most, I think, was just how clean everything looked. Big Ben, the phone booths, all looked brand new. Like the city had just been scrubbed down just for us. And yeah, we were supposed to be focused on finding a souvenir, but then we spotted this cute little cafe along the street, and honestly, there was no way that we could walk right past it. For my whole life, everyone said that the British were obsessed with tea, so we figured we might as well give it a shot. I mean, if you're gonna have tea anywhere in the entire world, the best place would have to be here, right? So we figured we might as well give it a shot. Ow, it burnt my mouth. It just tastes like water, actually. Yeah, I don't really get the hype. This stuff just tasted like straight up water. So to make up for it, we decided to order ourselves some snacks. And when they brought this tray out, we were a little bit confused. On the bottom, there's all sorts of rainbow bread looking things. In the middle, these biscuit things called scones. And on the top, a bunch of fancy desserts that looked way too nice for us. These looked far more promising than the tea we had before. But there was only one way to find out whether they were any good or not. It's actually really good. Honestly, they were really good. They were so much better than we expected and definitely fancier than anything we've eaten in the last few days. By the time we finished, we were in a way better mood. And then, right as we walked out, we spotted a gift shop. Talk about perfect timing. Weirdly enough, this place was packed. Like, not just with souvenirs, but actual people too. There were so many things to choose from. They had a whole board of fridge magnets, racks of hoodies, and all sorts of miniature statues. But in the end, we ended up grabbing this cool little figurine of Big Ben, which means task 1 is officially complete. With our souvenirs sorted, we knew we had to keep on moving. We still had to find some actual British food, and time was running out. But a few blocks later, we ended up outside this massive building, the British Museum. There was a huge crowd of people piling in through the doors, and somehow we kind of just started drifting in with them. Now, I don't know what I expected, maybe something like knights in armor, stories of kings and queens, or something just really British, but instead it was packed full of random artifacts from all over the world. In one room, there's some ancient mummies from Egypt, statues from Greece, and even a whole bunch of stuff from Asia. Basically, whatever you could find across the world was crammed into one building. But I heard a lot of this stuff was, borrowed or, stolen. So basically, we felt a bit weird walking around knowing that, but still, it's kind of insane seeing all that history in one place. The place is massive, but we didn't have hours to spare, so we basically just power walked through it all. And once we left, we started noticing all this artwork along the walls. We didn't really think much of it until we looked up and saw this massive sign that said Hamilton. And honestly, after rushing through the museum all morning, sitting down for a bit sounded amazing. Plus, we figured maybe we could grab something to eat during intermission. Multitask a little and check off our food task at the same time. So we went in, and the show was unreal. Everything from the cast, the orchestra, the energy, it was all perfect. I really think it was one of the coolest things we've done so far. When we walked out, we were still buzzing from the show, but also starving. Sure, the show was amazing, but it definitely did not fill our stomachs. So we hit the streets again on the hunt for some proper British food. And it didn't take us long to find, cause only 5 minutes down the street we found the Terrace Bar. But once we sat down at our table, we spotted this. Yup, that is exactly what you think it is. A rat. Luckily, he didn't bother me too much. He was honestly pretty cute. But we had better things to focus on. Apparently, there's a big debate about what counts as the ultimate traditional British food. But everyone we've asked said it's fish and chips, which sounds fine, but there's one small problem. I hate fish. It came out looking pretty good, I guess. There's some pickles sprinkled on top and some fries on the side, but it was a bit tough to cut through. And after some fighting, Leo finally managed to take his first bite.
I mean, it's not my favorite. Tastes a lot like fish, but not very strong fish. Not bad, definitely not great.
Which really didn't help me feel any better. And now it's my turn. And just cutting into it, I couldn't stand the smell. So I did what any sane person would do. Drown it in everything I could find. And then I just went for it.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to be disrespectful because I know this is obviously probably really good if you like fish, but I don't. Sorry, I'm actually about to throw up. I'm sorry. It's not like to be mean.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say I wasn't a fan. Out of all the foods we've tried in the other countries, this was easily the worst thing so far. But hey, whether we hated it or not, that means task 2 is officially complete. That fish and chip situation kinda ruined my mood, but we only had a couple hours left in the UK. And if we wanted to stay on track, we couldn't slow down now. So we headed back onto the streets of London again. There were so many people everywhere. The streets were packed. But luckily, we got to see one of those double-decker buses that we had always heard about. And then out of nowhere, we see this massive circle in the sky. At first, we thought it was just a massive Ferris wheel or something, but the closer we got, the more we realized this thing was huge. That's when it hit us. This is the London Eye, and we figured if we wanted to see London properly, this was probably the best way to do it. The whole ride takes about 30 minutes, which doesn't sound like much, but trust me, when you're stuck in a glass pod with a bunch of strangers, it feels way longer than that. Still, once you get to the top, the view makes it worth it. You can see everything. Crowds of people below, buses crossing the bridge, and Big Ben off in the distance. And then we spotted it. Right there, just in the distance, was our final landmark. So as soon as the pod touched down, we didn't even think, we just ran. This is Buckingham Palace. And honestly, the walk up to it might have been my favorite part. The road leading up is huge, lined with flags on both sides, and everything just feels royal. Actually royal. It kinda made me weirdly proud, even though I'm not even British. And then, when you finally get close, it's insane how big it actually is. I've seen it a million times in movies and on TV, but standing there in person feels completely different. We were pretty bummed that we couldn't get inside or anything. Apparently you can only do that during the summer tours, but even from the gate, it looked amazing. And right up there is the balcony. The one you always see the royal family waving from during big events. I don't know. There was just something really cool about being there in person. Like all those clips you see online or in the history books, suddenly it's right in front of you. And just like that, task 3 is officially complete. But the journey isn't over yet, because we still have 3 more countries to visit. And now it's time for
The Wheel of Destiny.
On this wheel is every country surrounding the UK, and wherever it lands, we have to go to next.
Okay, let's see where we're going.
Subscribe to see which country we're going to next.